Hello, my name is Melissa Arcon. I am an international relations student. This is Object 7, and in today's assignment, I'm going to be talking about the formulation of international trade policies. We are going to start off with the difference between free trade and fair trade. The free trade is going to be the minimal intervention from government, and the fair trade is going to be an active intervention from government. It also talks about the arguments at the industry level that we have four. The first one is going to be the national defense argument. The second one is the infant industry argument. The third one, we have the minutes of jobs. And for the last one is the strategic trade theory. So we have the first one, that is the argument of national defense. This one says that the country must be self-sufficient in critical raw materials, such as machinery and technology. Otherwise, it can be vulnerable to foreign threats. And this one also protects the steel of electronics and machine tool industries. Then we have the infant industry argument. This is a powerful economic development strategy that it consists in the imposition of tariffs to give the United States firms temporary protection from foreign competition until firms are fully established. Then the strategic trade theory says that the national government can make its country better off if it adopts different trade policies that can improve the competitiveness of its domestic firms in bigger industries. There will be different trade policies, and this lecture mentions three of them. The first one is the economic development programs, the second one is the industrial policy, and the third one is the public choice analysis. In the economic development programs, it exists the export promotion strategy and the import substitution strategy. Then the industrial policy talks about all the key domestic industries that are chosen, protected, and promoted. And for the last one, that is the public choice analysis, it competes the consumers versus the special interest groups. It exists two different barriers to international trade, the tariff barriers and the non-tariff barriers. The tariff barriers are going to be the export tariff, the import tariff, and the transit tariff. In the import tariff are going to be the ad valorem, the specific tariff, and the compound tariff. And then I'm going to read you the non-tariff barriers that are the quotas, numerical export controls, product and testing standards, restricted access to distribution networks, public sector procurement policies, regulatory controls, currency controls, investment controls, and local purchase requirements. Then we have the types of barriers to international trade, like tariffs, quantitative restriction, and other non-tariff barriers. A tariff is a tax placed on an import or export good involved in the international trade, like ad valorem, a specific or a compound tariff. The quantitative restrictions are the trade barriers that impose a limit to the quantity of products that can be imported or exported, such as quotas, numerical export controls, embargoes, and voluntary export restraints. And the non-tariff barriers are the law regulations or governmental policies that impede the international trade, like the products in testing standards and the restricted access to the distribution networks. To promote international trade, it exists the subsidies, the foreign trade zones, and the export financing programs. To control this, it exists the International Trade Administrations that determines if an unfair commercial practice happens, and the confirmed cases are going to be transferred to the International Trade Commission. So there are different practices to control the unfair trade by the country-based duties, the anti-dumping regulations, and the Super 301. And finally, I'm going to read you the objectives of unfair trade practices that are to promote global efficiency by encouraging production in those countries that can produce a good most efficiently, to ensure that trade occurs on the basis of comparative advantage and to protect consumers from predatory behavior.